Training camp is almost here, and in this video, I'm going to give you 5 players who are losers this offseason and heading into NFL training camp. Let's begin. What is going on, YouTube, and welcome to Detroit Lions Talk with MicroMike. We talk all things Detroit Lions news, rumors, analysis, breakdown, and everything regarding our franchise. In this video, we're going to be talking about 5 losers of this offseason and heading into training camp. There's multiple reasons why they're on this list. It could be due to injury. It could be due to player acquisition in the same positional group that they utilize. Maybe there is issues with the coaching staff, or they're just not for the future. But we're going to jump all into that in this video. And before we get into this big bad boy, make sure you hit that like button. Let's get to 100 likes in this video. The more likes we get, the more smiles that I put on my face. And if you're not a subscriber, you're crazy. Smash that subscribe button. We're getting close to the big 14,000 subscribers. I'd love to hit 14K before the training camp starts. That would be amazing. We talk about losers. We definitely got players who potentially could be on the bubble, and there's many factors for this. Again, like we're talking about, it could be injury. It could be more players that we picked up in the positional group. Maybe it doesn't fit the scheme. Well, I'm going to give you 5 players that definitely were losers before this training camp, and I must say, they need to be very worried about. It may not necessarily mean that they're not going to be on the roster, but they need to be worried about the positional, where they stand for this team. Better be starter, could be backup, could be getting passed up. I'll give you my reasons in this video. Let's start with Austin Bryant. Now, this one is an easy one to understand why he's a loser on my list. Injury, injury, injury. The man cannot stay healthy, and we've seen during minicamp, he wasn't practicing due to health concerns again. The guy has just been consistently on the injured list, consistently showing inability to stay healthy, and the best ability is availability. And right now, I'm sure that's not a good impression for the Lions coaching staff. Hit that like button, folks. Let's get to 100 likes in this video. We have a lot of defensive players that they picked up, and make no mistake about it. If he can't get on the field, those players can elevate to a position where they're getting more reps, more time, and potentially getting on the roster compared to him. Because if you can't practice and you can't play, why are you on the football team? There is absolutely no reason for that, in my opinion. Yes, he was drafted fairly high, significantly, up in the 3rd round just a couple years ago. But guess what? This regime did not draft him. And if he wants to make a good impression, he needs to work. Right now, not on the field is not a good first impression. There's players who can elevate to his position. You look at Julian Okwara. We drafted him last year. Obviously, we need to get some pass rush. That could be an individual that could be getting more reps. Obviously, compared to him, drafted him even higher. There's a lot of defensive players that are even undrafted rookies that could get more playing time in training camp. If he's not there, somebody could potentially make his spot. Hunter Bryant. Yes, we're going with the 2 Bs here in the Bryants. Hunter Bryant, the tight end, he had potential, but again, comes to injury, he seems to be there on the list. And if you look at the Lions tight end position right now, you got TJ Hockenson, but the Lions picked up Darren Fells for a reason. Darren Fells will be the number 2 tight end for the Lions. A good mentor, good veteran presence in there. He's good at blocking, and he can get some touchdowns and make some plays. But Hunter Bryant's not a number 2. He'd be a number 3, and that's why we picked up Mac, who does have connections to this coaching staff. And if you can't stay healthy, you can't be on the football team. And we need to have at least 3 tight ends who consistently be on the field and make some plays for us. If you look at all the individuals they picked up, even in undrafted free agent rookies, there's a lot of people they picked up, and this is for that competition for the number 3 spot. I don't think they're going 4 tight ends here. So in my opinion, he is absolutely looking outside on in and had a miserable offseason before training camp due to injury and due to player acquisition, and that's not good for him. Breshad Perriman. Now, in my opinion, when it comes to Breshad Perriman, he's going to be on the roster, the 53-man roster, just because of the lack of depth here. So you may ask, why did you put him on the list? Well, what we heard in camp so far, in mini camps and in OTAs, is not a whole lot of good, a lot of drop passes. And when we talked about the wide receiver position, there was two players that were standing out. That's Amon-Ra St. Brown as well as Victor Bolden. You weren't hearing a whole lot of good about Breshad Perriman. Those two could actually ascend past him, and Quintez Cephas on the wide receiver core. And if that's the case, he could get pushed down and get a lack of playing time for this up-and-coming season. And that's not good for somebody who's slated to be a number 2 for the Detroit Lions. You're supposed to come in and make some plays for Jared Goff, but the only plays that you're making is dropping passes. Now, he definitely has time to make up ground and get better in this up-and-coming training camp, and hopefully that can be the case, but we need to hear positive vibes from Perriman. We need to hear him making positive plays instead of making drops. And if we continue to hear about Victor Bolden, Quintez Cephas, and Amon-Ra St. Brown, he could be on the ends of the depth chart. He could be making a lack of plays in the regular season and ultimately being a player that is definitely not the long-term solution. That's definitely getting pushed down the depth chart, and that's definitely not helping out the Lions for the 2021 NFL season. So he really needs to put his game up, but yes, he is an off-season loser before training camp. Subscribe to the channel. Let's get to 14,000 subscribers. We're literally less than 90 away, and with your help, we can get it done. If you're watching it anyways, you might as well subscribe. And from what I heard, when it comes to live streaming, there's a potential that only subscribers can comment in these new metrics that YouTube did, and that potentially could take place. I'm not 100% sure on that, but if you subscribe, you don't have to worry about it, because I will be doing live streams on Thursday. I do that every single time, but as well as I do live watch parties on Sunday in the upcoming season, and I want everybody to comment and have a good time. So subscribe to the channel. You don't have to worry about it. Jahlani Tavai. Now, a lot of people saying, Jahlani Tavai, there's no way he should be on this list. He dropped 17 pounds. Well, the reason why he is a loser on this list is, first off, the linebacking core is lacking. And the Lions did pick up some linebackers. They wanted to make sure that they have some players in there. You got Alex Anzalone they brought in. They want to make sure they got that depth. You got Jalen Reeves-Maybin, who they re-signed. There is a reason why they're putting these players in positions, as well as Trey Flowers moving back a little bit, and I'm sure we're going to see some Julian Okwara as well. He really needs to step his game up in a big way, because when the coaching staff comes in and they talk about other players, and when they asked about Jahlani Tavai, they said he's a player who was drafted, that's not a lot of confidence. That's not a lot of confidence at all. He can make some ground up. He does have that ability. Do I think he makes the team? I do believe he makes the team, but there is a reason why the coaching staff did what they did, turning over this core, and he was one of the issues, a big issue for the core last year, so he definitely needs to step his game up. It was a good start for him to lose some weight, but no doubt about it, it's still a loser, though, because you have to be able to stand your ground and fight off the competition. And when you're bringing all these people in, that's not a good look for you. You really need to show yourself and get better at your speed, get better at your mental game, and show that bringing these veterans in here to compete for your position was a mistake. I just don't know if that's going to be the case. DaShawn Hand. He is an offseason loser, in my opinion, and there's many factors why that this is the case. First off, if you look at the NFL draft, the Detroit Lions selected Levi Onwuzurike, second round. They turn around and in the third round get Aleem McNeil, defensive tackle, as well. They really wanted to beef up the interior of the Detroit Lions defensive line, and that spells some issues for the current players on this position. Now, the Lions did re-sign Nick Williams. Yes, he had to take a pay cut for the defensive line. The Lions have John Penisini, who did fairly decent last year for the 6th-round draft pick, and also leaves DaShawn Hand, who has been consistently injured for the Lions. And when he was on the field this last year, he wasn't showing his potential, what we've seen in his rookie year. When you bring in all this competition and you're consistently being injured, that spells a lot of bad for DaShawn Hand. I still think he has a chance to prove himself. He just needs to stay healthy. But when you bring in all these players, that's not a big sign from your coaching staff that you're the reliable one that they're going to focus on for this interior. Because Levi and Uzurike, to me, ceiling is much higher. Aleem McNeil, yes, he doesn't play exactly what Hand does, but he still plays on the interior. He still plays on the defensive line. Nick Williams is a veteran there. Potentially could be an issue for this roster, but he's still a guy you got to compete with. And John Pennicini seems to did fairly decent. And if you look at the edges, because he can play edges as well, Trey Flowers, Romeo Aquara, you got Julian he could play on the outside as well. He has a ton of competition. And in my opinion, it's an uphill battle to make this roster. In that case, he's a loser. But hopefully he can stay healthy and compete, because I think with he does have a high ability. He does have some good pieces to his game, and I think he could contribute. Just the biggest issue is staying healthy and being reliable. You have to be a reliable piece, because we have to be able to stop the run and get after the quarterback and get pressure as well. And if you can't be on the field, it's an issue. But I'm really rooting for DaShawn Hand. I want to see this man stay on the field, because I feel like he is a guy that if he can stay healthy, he does have a high ceiling, and he could be a good piece for the Lions, but he is an off-season loser. In the upcoming videos, we got the OnePride podcast on my channel, 6:30 p.m. EST every single Thursday, and on Sundays, majority of the time, 11 a.m., and it's just a Q&A session. If you got some questions, go ahead and ask me. And just like I stated in the subscribe channel, there is rumors going around that there's going to be a feature where subscribers will be the ones to comment on the comment section. It's not 100% confirmed. I haven't checked it yet totally, but just make sure you subscribe to the channel, because I do want, even if you disagree with what we're saying or disagreeing with what I'm talking about, I think it's really important that everybody has their comments in there. So make sure you subscribe. If not, when that time does come, hey, just subscribe then, and we will kill it for this Lions game.